G'day guys, Big V podcast. It is round 3. We're talking seniors champ men today. We're talking about some 2022 All-Star 5 appearances, where they are now, how their seasons are going and everything else. Now, to my right I've got Mark Jeffers, league manager. How are you, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. Thank you.
It's good. Now let's just kick it off straight away because we got some insane players here. We got 5 returning guys from the All-Star 5 champ, man. We got Sharif Black, Chris Elder, Maurice Howard, Troyce Manassa, and Ishmael Sanders all back in the league and having pretty good years.
Yeah, really exciting to see guys of that sort of caliber return to the league for a second year. You know, sometimes you can see our foreign-born players sort of turn over a little bit and start getting some new blood. But yeah, all returning. I mean, one in the different uniform, obviously, in Troyce.
Yeah, big change.
Hume picking him up from Western Port, which has been really solid for them.
Absolutely, he has, and he's been paired with Chris Elder and Kaber as well. So that makes it a little bit interesting. We can see some guys, having greater performances. Some other guys having, maybe just that slower start to the year.
Yeah, I mean, Troyce has been huge for Hume to start the year. Not quite getting the numbers he was putting up by towards the end of the season of 2022, but I would potentially argue he's got more support around him, similar to Chris Elder. Certainly not putting up huge numbers comparatively, but I mean, they're undefeated, so they probably wouldn't be arguing that the numbers might have dropped a little bit for more team success.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you got to be happy with nothing in the loss column.
Yeah, 4-0 start. I think Coach Foster would be pretty stoked with that sort of start for the Broncos.
Absolutely. Now, before we touch on the MVP, we'll talk about Maurice Howard and Sharif Black because these are two, very dominant guards in this league. One of them is potentially injured, missing a few games recently.
Yeah. Sharif Black, he started pretty strong with I believe he was in the round 1 starting 5 for his performance against the Campbell Dragons.
Yeah.
But it does seem he's missed round 2 and round 3. So I heard potentially a hamstring injury. But yeah, not sure when he's expected back, potentially after the Easter break.
Fingers crossed. Shout out to Sharif Black. Now, Maurice Howard, this guy is going nuts right now. He's been in our starting 5 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah, averaging 33 points a game so far. He started the year with a bang with that 47 or 46-point game against Melbourne Uni.
Yeah.
Which seems to be a thing against Melbourne Uni. They let import guards go for 40 pieces against them at the moment, with Ish Sanders doing a similar thing this week. But
he could have chased that 50 points.
He
was close.
He could have. If only he made a few more free throws, he'd be fine.
Yeah. We saw him at the end of that game. He clapped his hands together, looked a little bit...
Yeah, a bit frustrated.
A bit gutted he missed one of those free throws.
How either way, what a performance by Sanders to be able to get to 47 points, as well as knock off the undefeated Melbourne University, which I'm sure Sunbury would have been pleased with after having a tough loss the week before against Hume.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we'll continue to touch on Sanders because we'll just go to his stats real quick. Now, he's averaging just under 30 points per game, but he's shooting almost 50% from the 3-point line. It's only round 3. I understand that, but
he's played 3 games so far. A huge game against Blackburn. Probably unlucky not to make the Big V starting 5 for that round 1 performance. But all of a sudden, then he had a bit of a quiet week against Hume, and funnily enough, his team didn't play that well. And then he's bounced back and absolutely phenomenal and so efficient.
Absolutely. Now, we'll touch on one more player here before we head out because I believe he's the only non-import here.
He is.
Joel Rhymes, the 2022 MVP for Div 1 men. The man had a crazy rounding run in round 2. He shot 10 from 19 from 3-point land.
Yeah, on his way to 38 points.
Yeah, he's having quite a season.
Yeah. No, we expected that. I mean, Joel's somebody who's played at that NBL 1 level with Diamond Valley.
Yeah.
He's a former VYC men's MVP back in his Bulleen days.
Yeah.
So, what I found really interesting is his points has actually gone up since his Div 1 MVP year. He had 17 points a game that year, and he's up at 24 points a game at the moment. I mean, that 38-point game, that performance probably helps his situation, but shooting 46% from deep, it's amazing. No wonder he gets points on the board.
Absolutely, it's crazy. It is crazy. Some insane talent in Chem, man. Stay tuned. We got the week off this week, but we'll be back round 4 just after Easter. Have a good one, guys.